minimal risks are things like spam filters, AI-enabled video games, and so forth. And for these, there are no specific mandatory requirements. The requirements are the act or the commission says that these voluntary codes of conduct would be a nice thing to have, but not mandatory. Then we have the second risk category there, which is limited risks. And limited risks include chatbots, deepfakes, emotion recognition systems, to name a few. These are objected to the transparency requirements, so being transparent towards the individuals. And then we have high risk. So high risk is sort of the backbone of the legislation, one could even say. It includes things like critical infrastructure or applications linked to critical infrastructure, biometric ID systems, education, vocational training, such as automated scoring of exams, employment, worker management, access to self-employment, essential private and public services, including also evaluation of creditworthiness, so linked to obviously the banks and other parties, law enforcement systems, and so forth. So also what must be noted that there is, in one of the annexes, there is a list of these high-risk applications, but also what is stated in Article 7 is that AI system that poses a risk and harm of health and safety or a risk of adverse impact to the fundamental rights to the individuals also should be considered as high risk. So it sort of leaves a bit of room for defining high-risk systems, not only stating them precisely. And finally, we have the unacceptable risk. So that's something that cannot be done. It's prohibited. And there we have things like social scoring. So social scoring, you might have read that in some countries or some markets, it's possible to do, like, for instance, in China. Then we have biometrics, real-time remote identification systems in publicly accessible places used by law enforcement. So a lot of these things that are actually prohibited are unacceptable risk. They are something that are done by the public entities, like, for instance, law enforcement.